we see as pastors, a lot of people ask us questions about connecting with community. A lot of people struggle to kind of go from being a part of, the attending crowd to being connected. What do you think are some of the biggest obstacles people face to engaging in deeper community? And what are some of our next steps as a community at Grace Chapel and our different locations to help people better engage in deeper community?
I think one of our challenges for community, especially in the Lexington campus, is not just the number of people, but the diversity of opportunities. It's just overwhelming for people. So you step out into that lobby, and there's 5 different places you could go to connect. If there were one place, you would go to that place. But there's 5, you almost get immobilized by the choices sometimes. So I think if we can streamline for people, helping them say, here's a step, here's a step, here's a step. I also think we have to help folks understand they have to take a little bit of initiative.
Yes.
Community won't come to you.
Yes.
You don't. I think it was Ortberg or somebody says you don't find community, you build community. So you need to take a step and start a conversation, ask a question, join a group, visit, check something out. It probably won't come at you the way it might in a much smaller environment or a smaller church. They'll come after you, but it's probably not going to happen at Grace Chapel.
I think there's a perseverance issue too, kind of like what Dave said, where if people don't stick with it, it's going to feel like no one pursued them, when really there has to be I got to commit to being somewhere regularly for 6 months or a year before I'm going to feel like there's a deeper connection than just we see each other and know each other's faces. And I think for a lot of people, that's what I've seen as a bigger issue is they say, I don't have community. It's like, well, how long have you been coming? I've been here for 4 weeks. It's like, well, that's a great start, but what's that next step is saying, I'm just going to commit to being in one place for a while and letting community happen. Kind of like you said, 1 year of community. That's what you have. That's what we have at Watertown. We have a year's worth of community. You guys have 4 or 5 months of community,
right.
And so we're saying, okay, what does that next step look like, and how do we move on?
But I think you're absolutely right, Brian, in terms of the intentionality piece, because we don't have those challenges. We're a smaller space, and so with less people, so you would think that the relationships would happen naturally because we don't have as many places to wander around, and yet you can still fall into the same traps of talking to the same people.
Yeah, that's true.
So we've done a lot of things to create the spaces where community can happen through a meal after the services, through some of the missional opportunities that we're developing. But unless you're intentional in actually making sure that you don't just default to what's already known, you still won't build long-term community. There will still be people on the fringes. And so I've been really proud of our leadership team. Like when I look across the dining room, they're very good about making sure they're not sitting with the same people every Sunday, that they're actually looking for who the visitors are and making sure that they include it. So I've been really proud of our leadership team in doing that. But I know as we grow, it will be easier for people to kind of fall through the cracks. And so that same kind of intentionality of helping them understand is going to have to be there as we get larger.
Well, you're saying that, Dan, it just taps into a frustration I have sometimes in helping our congregation here pursue community is on a Sunday morning in the lobby as everyone's milling around, I'll see a newer person, they appear to be new, walking out, they step in the lobby, they stand around, they obviously don't know anybody,
That's right.
aren't sure what to do next, they don't want to just walk out of the building, but no one goes to them.
No one's paying attention.
No one's paying attention because
Yeah.
we're all having such a good time with each other. And I've sometimes been talking to one person and I can't break away, and I see them just drift, and I'm like, no. I just wish our people would say those first 10 minutes, I'm just going to walk around and look for people who look like they want someone to talk to.
It's huge. Yeah.
Kind of the idea is everyone's on the welcome team.
Everyone's on the welcome team.
Everyone's
That's a
building
good statement.
community by showing up and connecting. Yeah, absolutely.